Second quarter for RACV Business Insurance. The Bombers start with a 39-point lead.
No ruckman touching out of the centre bounce. Kick forward, and there's a chance for Hartlett. Handball off to Boat, handball to Westhoff. He's between centre and centre half back. He kicks wide. It's an effective kick. Mark taken by Pollock, just backward to the wing. Kick in towards the corridor. Mark taken by Ebert between centre and centre half forward. Kicks it wide now towards the forward pocket at the back. Trengo couldn't take the mark. Off hands. He's first to gather. Quick snap and goal! It's a goal!
Good finish.
That's going to be a pancake goal.
Lovely.
Of the night, outstanding work from Trengo. Deep in the right forward pocket. He's been a good player tonight, playing mainly forward and as a relief ruckman for Ryder.
He's tagging Hurley, mate.
Is he?
Yep, I reckon he's tagging Hurley in a defensive role. But let me tell you, he got away with one here. He had just shoved his opponent in the back, and whether it was by hand or by the forearms, I'm not sure. But his opponent just flew into that contest, and that's how Chris Hoey was able to stay down the back. Good finish in the end. But, I just thought he might have got away with one then.
RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. Port moved to 2-3-15. Essendon 7-6-48.
Around the grounds, Vixens down by 8 at half-time in their preliminary final against the Giants.
Keep you up to date for Vodafone. Thank you, Half. Ball cleared out of the middle. Wines, handball, Ebert. Hartlett receives it, kicks forward, Wingard, dropped what he should have taken, recovered beautifully, runs to the point of the square, delivers inside 50, lead was on immediately and coming through to take the mark. Robbie Gray directly in front, 30 metres out, and already inside the opening 90 seconds, gentlemen. This Port Adelaide side looks a hell of a lot better.
As we say in the business, it's only a small sample size, but they've had 9 disposals to 1, 2 inside 50s, and they'll get their second goal because Robbie Gray doesn't miss these, and they're a new breed, this second quarter power, as opposed to what we saw in the first.
They certainly had to be. Bombers by 39 points at quarter time. It was brought back to 33 by Trengo, and now Robbie Gray makes it a 27-point ball game. Port Adelaide 3-3-21, Essendon 7-6-48. Second term for RACV Business Insurance before Tony Shaw. Tiff, down to you.
A slight concern for the Bombers. Hurley's just limping ever so slightly. He did have his left quad strapped in that break, so obviously a bit of a corky.
I love watching players like Robbie Gray. I can't remember many mistakes that Robbie Gray has made on a one-out sort of thing that stood out over his whole career. It just, what can you say, it's efficiency at its best, and he doesn't need to get the ball a lot. He does do that sometimes, but that's how he goes about it.
Good to see the Chad involved there from Port Adelaide's point of view as well with that delivery to Robbie Gray. He's a super important player and has been out for a little while.
So ball back in the centre. Electrifying start in their second term by Port Adelaide, and they get another clearance as Ryder taps to Ebert. Long inside attacking 50. Gray's got a chance here. Couldn't mark this one. Spills to Wingard. Left foot snap from Wingard. Deep left forward pocket. Couldn't pull it back far enough. In fact, he didn't score. He's kicked it out on the full. And now the field umpire coming to discuss proceedings with the goal umpire and the boundary umpire.
He even discussed it with the other side of the goal's boundary umpire.
Oh, we're getting a review about whether it hit the behind post. It clearly flew over the behind post.
Hero Valentino repo says exactly that, Chris O. Flew over the behind post. How are you going to get a conclusive outcome here is going to be beyond me.
Well, it's umpire's call, but I don't mind it. Only takes 30 seconds or close to that. Get it right and we're happy, aren't we? No?
Yeah, if it's right. If it's right.
It could be a point.
Well, yeah,
it could mean a difference in the end of the game. Let's just get it right and
I think it's
no score.
No score.
Either way.
Out on the full.
Which is what we had.
So it'll be a free kick to
Maybe
Kelly.
Right, may not be.
In the back pocket. Long kick wide to the City side. Half back line. Now taken by Hooker. He couldn't get an effective disposal away. He was immediately tackled. Threads a handball out. But taken by Wingard. He was dispossessed. Picked up by Westhoff. Had his kick smothered by Kelly. Ball in dispute. Bell Chambers has got it. And slipped a handball to his teammate Watson. But he was immediately tackled by Westhoff. And we get a ball up left half forward for Port. They've kicked the only 2 goals in this second quarter and have narrowed the margin to 27 points.
Ball at left half forward for Port Adelaide as well, and an over-the-shoulder free kick, and the ruck sees Paddy Ryder take possession. He's up against the boundary line, 55 metres out. Gets the booze inside 50. It had to be hands in the back, surely.
No, free kick to Dixon prior, I think, other than this being a mark.
So Wingard came through to take the mark, but there was an over-the-shoulder free kick on Charlie Dixon. And it was Michael Hartley, the offender.
So why don't we pay advantage in that situation?
Oh, did he kick the goal, did he?
No.
Wingard's taken the mark.
Wingard's taken the mark,
but
advantage.
Well, he must have called that first. As a matter of fact, it did happen to be prior to the mark, Chriso.
Dixon, 4 goals last week. Hits the stick.
You'd rather Wingard, wouldn't you?
Can we do it again?
Yeah.
3-4-22 Port Adelaide. Essendon 7-6-48. So the Bombers by 26 points doing all the attacking in Port Adelaide, I should say, doing all the attacking in this second term before Chris O'Tiff. Down to you.
Yeah, we've had one of the umpires has been subbed out. Chris Camelins has done his calf, his right calf.
So Hurley played to himself, then kicks astutely to Heppel, who kicks carefully. Mark taken by Hooker. He gave it to Zaharakis, who was under the pump, but he got a quick handball off to Goddard. A low worm burner and a free kick meantime. Bell Chambers. Now away goes Howlett with the advantage call, but the umpire said it wasn't continuous and the ball needs to come back, and the Bomber fans obviously don't like it.
Blood rule 2 to Ryder here, Chris. I'll have to get. That's just a bump off the ball to stop him going back to the contest.
Well, Bell Chambers turned around, that's right, to get to the ball, and Paddy Ryder stood still. How that's a free kick is beyond me.
You got me there, unless you said it's just a shepherd away from the ball.
Well, that's what he's paid it for, but it's a wrong decision.
Okay, so a couple of bad minutes by the umpies.
And one's done his calf.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, sorry.
And a couple of decisions. So Bell Chambers kicks it short to Bagley, who kicks it short to Hartley, who's got it right below our broadcast position on centre wing. Oh, careful kick is effective. Mark taken in the corridor by Watson. He stands on the logo. Turns on the right boot, kicks it inside attacking 50, ball to the back. Here's a chance for Howlett, did well, got the handball to Stewart. Oh, it wasn't great to him, although Stewart did brilliantly, rested it away. Quick snap at goal, ball to the back, well done by Hartlett, got a fist in there, top of the goal square. And goalkeeper-like fists it through for a rush behind. So the Bombers now 7-7, Port a 3-4.
And Port might be out. They work it off half-back. Sam Gray receives, pointed the square half-back, bounced it to himself, then put it around his waist, then gave the handball to Robbie Gray, no relation. He in turn to Boak. Boak links a handball to Chad Wingard. Centre wing out of side, spearing kick inside 50. Wanted Impey. Should have done better. Knocked away from him though by Hurley. And we'll see a boundary throw in 45 metres around from goal for Port Adelaide. Coventry or Lloyd end of the stadium. Tiff, quickly down to you.
Yeah, the doctor trying to stem the flow up from Paddy's nose, stuffing a few cotton wool buds up there, so hopefully he'll be on back soon.
Boundary throw in across attacking 50 for Port Adelaide. Bell Chambers tapped it down, picked up by Pal Pepper. Better handball laterally. Green unable to pick up. Watson knocked it to Broadbent. He knocked it to Heppel, who got a handball to Howlett, who's immediately wrapped up. No prior opportunity. And we'll see a ball up edge of the centre square. Half forward for Port Adelaide. They're 3-4-22. Essendon 7-7-49. RACV Business Insurance Scoreboard.
So Bell Chambers beats Trengove, although Trengove was able to knock it forward after it bounced. Handballed forward haphazardly by Goddard. Trengove's got it. Good tackle on him by Bell Chambers. Ball wrapped up. Another ball up just inside the centre square. Centre half forward for Port Adelaide.
Around the grounds for Vodafone. Edgbaston, Australia batting in the Champions Trophy match against England. 1 for 55 after 9. Davey Warner out for 21. Finch 24 not out. Steve Smith 8 not out.
Thanks, Half. So Bell Chambers wins it down. Sharp by Westhoff. Handball back to Broadbent. Now the long penetrating kick. It'll land near the top of the goal square. Gleeson went up, missed the mark. Comes to Gray. Brilliant smother. Brilliantly done by Bagley. And Gleeson was able to pick up the loose crumb. Handball wide to Goddard. Kicks it well to Fantasia, who marks in front of Broadbent. Is that 50? Yep. He put Fantasia down, did Broadbent, and the umpire said it was a bit crude. And Matthew, you're going to have to come back 50. So this could be just the break the Bombers needed, just to get out of the stranglehold that Port have on them. Haven't been able to get it out of their forward 50. So handball by Fantasia to Hurley. Long kick to the pocket. Danaher up. Cleary did enough and affected the spoil. Ball over the back. Boundary throw in the right forward pocket for the Bombers. RACV Business Insurance Scoreboard. Essendon 7-7. Port a 3-4. The margin in favour of the Bombers is 27 points.
Boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Bombers. Winners earlier today. Gold Coast over the Hawks. Brisbane over Fremantle. From the boundary throw in. Howlett came up with it. Gave a little handball off. Ebert palmed it down. Westhoff just tries to kick outside defensive 50.
Shepherd.
I'm not sure what Archie was trying. Archie was trying to leap into the ball and must have been tumbled and gets the free kick.
That's exactly the call they did. They said it was Goddard who didn't go for the ball to help his teammate. Yeah. And that's the right decision.
The right decision.
Didn't even look at the ball.
Umpies are back.
Archie down the city wing. Dixon being held. Should have gotten a free kick. Doesn't. McGrath able to take possession for the Bombers. At half-back, Heppel stepped around his man with ease. Not a good kick. Allowing to get the pick-up is Impey. Impey inside 50. Fly to the ball. Wingard. Joe the Goose over the top to Robbie Gray. And Robbie gets another one for the Power. His third of the night. And that was just too easy. And a poor kick from Dyson Heppel brings the margin back to 21 points. 4-4-28 Port Adelaide. Essendon 7-7-49, 11 gone, second term.
I'll tell you what, silence can be golden at times. I was just going to say Dyson Heppel has controlled this game, and then he's kicked it straight over his head. But he has had a brilliant first half. But to make a mistake there for a senior player, and just such an easy goal when you go up the other end. Oh, gee, Brendan Goddard just saw on the replay, boys, just might have hit Robbie Gray in the face with a hand. Open hand though, Chris Owen. I don't think it's intentional because he looked at him.
Okay. So one forward by Bell Chambers.
A jumper
to Fantasia. Couldn't control it. Here's a chance at ground level for Stewart. He picks it up, couldn't get rid of it. Ebert's got it. Certainly Port's intent much better in this second term. Wines dives in on top of the footy and ties it up centre half forward. No, the umpire lets it go eventually. Now he calls for it. The ball's still not coming out. And we'll get a ball up at centre half forward for the Bombers, front of the centre square. The margin has been trimmed to 21. At quarter time it was 39 in favour of Essendon. Here's a chance for Merritt. Little pat towards Zaharakis. Not a great handball. All to Fantasia was held without it. No free kick. Coming through Green. He couldn't control it. Now he gets another opportunity. Held a long time in the tackle. Again, no free kick. They fight at ground level. Essendon fans don't like the umpiring at the minute. Green's got it. Got a handball off to Sam Gray. He tried to get it clear. Picked up eventually by Burn Jones, who just kicks it and hacks it towards the boundary line. Collier will be first there. It's over for a boundary throw-in. Is that deliberate, Umpy? No, he says throw it in. 60 metres around from the Essendon goal at right half forward. The Bombers 7-7 lead Port 4-4.
Much hungry around the contest. Southern Star Group stats, windows and doors.build. Clearance is 6-2 for the Power this quarter. Contested possessions 13-11. They've turned it around in that area and on the scoreboard as well.
Saturday night footy for KFC on 3AW and Relays. Boundary throw in taken by Merritt. Spearing ball inside 50. Hooker, the target, couldn't mark off the pack. Josh Green snaps across the face. Bombers 7-8-50. Port Adelaide 4-4-28. RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. Paddy Ryder back on the ground for the Power.
Tell you what, Jack Holmes, she's having a lot of problems with Hooker at the moment. Just he's too strong.
Port work it towards the wing. Chance at ground level. Well played by Impey, who was taken high momentarily. No free kick, and the umpire will come in and ball it up. Just the attacking side of left centre wing for the Bombers. Doc's side of the ground as the Bombers kick to the Lockett end in this second term. So the umpire just calling for nominations for Ruckman, and Trengo puts his hand up and has given away a free kick. I'm not quite sure. He's indicated shepherding.
Well, the umpire nominated Ollie Wines.
Oh, okay, so that's why it was. So the kick by Bell Chambers inside the attacking 50. Brilliant pick up, Stewart. Handball to Howlett. Oh, he had a flying shot from 35 with no pressure. Kicked it across the face, and well done on the goal line, in fact, by Hompsch, forcing it through for a rush behind. So some wasted opportunities in the last couple of minutes for the Bombers. Essendon 7-9, Port a 4-4.
Hartley with the kick in. Goes long outside, defensive 50. The back of the pack, Goddard. Handball to Merritt. Off a step. Kicks to the hot side, inside 50. What a mark from Cale Hooker.
Bad matchup.
Middle of the pack. Mark of the day for Robot Building Supplies. Robot's got it for all your building supply needs. He's lining up for goal number 4 right here.
Well, they said it a couple of minutes ago. Hompsch not strong enough in the air, and even on body, he's coming in for his 4th goal. They're going to have to make a change here. And it might have to be Tommy Jonas go to him, but that allows Joe Danaher to get loose too. So there's got some worries here.
Kicked us 2 last week in their loss to the Giants. This for his 4th tonight. Hooker kicks, goals. He's got 4 already. Bombers 8-9-57, Port Adelaide 4-4-28, 14.5 gone, second quarter for Ray White. Get online, raywhite.com. You'll be able to find your local agent because they certainly have the know-how.
We don't often see that this in modern footy, Shorey, these days, with the way teams defend from a team perspective and a space and structure perspective, where the one-on-one is so important. Last night we saw it with Josh Jenkins had Nathan Brown covered, and that had to be moved in the second quarter for Adelaide. And we're seeing it here tonight. I'm with you. That's got to be changed, that matchup. But do you allow Joe Danaher to get off the leash, or do you allow Joe Danaher to play further up the field and push him up and keep him out of the scoring area?
They've identified himself, Essendon, because they've got Hooker behind Joe Danaher and Stewart. So they're saying, give him some space, get out of his way, boys. He's had kicked 4 goals. Have to change it.
Back in the centre, Joe Danaher kicked it forward. Ricochets off Green. Here's a chance for Westhoff. Got a handball to Wines. Good strong play. Shrug clear, got the handball wide to Pollock, who wants his left side. Fantasia did well to tackle, but he got the call up from Burne-Jones. The kick inside, attacking 50, almost Dixon. Now McGrath with an opportunity. Tackle, a big one, coming from Wingard. Ball held to him, no prior opportunity there, and the umpire will ball it up.
Spot on, Shorey. The change has been made. Holmes has gone to Stewart, and we've got, who is it, Jonas on hooker.
So ball
Great
up.
coaching, Shorey.
30 metres from Port's goal, one down by Ryder to Robbie Gray. Oh, he tried to get a handball away, but it was a great tackle, and it came from Bagley, and the disposal was incorrect, so Bagley will take it. 30 metres from his defensive goal.
I wish I coached like that 18 years ago.
You might have got a legend status, Sean.
Oh yeah, keep going.
Kicks it wide. Mark's taken by McKenna in the back pocket.
I'd nominate you, Sean.
Now 50 metres, because the man on the mark went over the man on the mark, Archie. So McKenna's going to get the benefit here of 50 metres. So he chips it. Oh, yeah, it comes off. It was okay. A 20-metre chip. And Mark taken by Watson on the logo, right centre wing. Beautiful kick to the lead of Heppel, who wheels onto the left boot, kicks it across the ground to Merritt. He's got Kelly in support. Ignores that. Kicks towards half forward. Fantasia in front. Couldn't take the mark. Big Charlie Dixon swoops in, gets a handball to Wines. Oh, great tackle, Fantasia, turnover. Here's Green with an opportunity, 55 from goal. Kicks it to the top of the goal square. Where's Hooker? He's at the back. Well done this time by Cleary. Got a hand in there and forces a boundary throw in deep left forward pocket for the Bombers. But after Port Adelaide kicked 3 goals in the first 9 minutes, they've just consolidated over the last 5 minutes, the Bombers, and with another opportunity to score with a boundary throw in left forward pocket.
So Lockett or Fletcher end of the ground. Bombers deep into attack. Boundary throw in. Ryder wins it down. Boat Sharks lost it. Came up to Wines. Fans thought it was thrown, but the kick from Wines high into the air and just positioning himself in position 1A. Zach Merritt takes the mark on his chest. 45-degree angle. Will kick from about 48.
I reckon a bit of footy karma there. I reckon it was dropping the ball, and Wingard had that ball out of that stoppage. In the end, Zach Merritt's got a shot a bit further out, 45 metres out.
But he's beautiful kick normally. I'm probably moz him here.
Doesn't kick a lot. 2-4 for the year. He's put that across the face. No, he hasn't.
Come on.
He gets it through.
You're hot, Shorey.
Come on, Bruce.
Just snuck in.
Colin.
It looked as though it was going across the face.
Yeah, good.
Essendon 9-9. At least I'm not going to be in the Hall of Fame either for a commentary like that. Essendon 9-9, 63, Port Adelaide 4-4, 28. All that RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. A very nice kick from Zach Merritt.
Well, they've done well, haven't they? Look, they were under the pressure there to get down. I think it was back to 21 points was the smallest margin.
Correct.
Was that right, you blokes? Is
yes,
that right?
Correct, sure.
So
correct.
21 points, and now they've blown it out again. So well done to Essendon. They get in the half time, and they can take some confidence out of this side's come at them. They've matched it in that department.
Last 10 minutes on the Southern Star Group stat sheet. Windows and Doors built 13-7 contested possessions, 5-3 clearances. So Port got it back, and now Essendon have taken it again.
Ryder wins it down, but straight to Watson. Here's a chance for Goddard as Watson was dispossessed. Got the handball to Danaher. He tried to take on Wines, and in the end, Webb fell to the ground, but got a kick away. Green takes it. Handball to McDonald. Tippenwoody kick towards full forward. Hooker caught behind Cleary, who's done well in a couple of contests against Carl Hooker since going on to him after Hooker kicked his 4th. And he kicks it wide to Gray. Still inside defensive 50. A dangerous kick, but it comes off. No, Sam Gray drops the mark, but he's got time. Threat the handball to Boak, handball to Ebert. He concedes ground, 20 metres back to Robbie Gray. Gets the handball in the nick of time off to Hartlett, who kicks long to the wing. 2-on-1 in favour of the Bombers. Heppel up, couldn't take the mark. Hurley at the back, did well. Oh, gee, negotiated around Trengove superbly. Got the handball to Kelly. A lateral kick into the corridor. Here's McKenna. He kicks towards half forward. Well placed. Mark taken by Stewart. Just inside the centre square of centre half forward. Kicks towards Hooker. Couldn't take the mark. He finds it at ground level, does he? A quick snap at goal. A vacant goal square. It's a goal. Hooker's kicked his fifth. What? Oh, another pancake part of the goal of the night. Cale Hooker, 5 goals. And we've played 13 minutes in the second quarter, if you can believe that. RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. Essendon have their 10th, 10-9-69. Porter 4-4-28. The margin is out to 41 points, which is a game-high lead. Cale Hooker, 5 goals.
Well, Cale Hooker's going to the umpire and said, is that chopping the arm still in vogue? Is it still work? Because on the lead is no doubt he got chopped, but great recovery for him. I'm just watching Hamish Hartlett on the Yarra Valley Toyota replay, whether the effort to try and touch the ball, was it sensational? I don't think so, but it might be that it was too far out of his reach to do it, but gee, I thought a little bit more body language.
Yeah, I thought he could have gotten closer, Shorey, on the Yarra Valley Toyota replay. Ball in the middle of the ground, yet to be cleared. Picked up for Essendon by Myers, rammed into the turf by Westhoff. No prior opportunity, ball up, tipped down to you.
Yeah, concern for Port. Ollie Wines came limping off with his left knee. It's already heavily strapped with the medial ligament, so they're just about to re-strap it, I think.
Career best 2 for Cale Hooker coming into tonight. He'd never kicked more than 3 in a game. Already has 5, and we're not even at half time. Merritt feeds a handball, wanted Watson, got Pollock instead. He's dispossessed. Watson, second, third effort. His handball, though, only as far as Trengove. Gave it to Ebert. Kicks toward the top of the goal square. Robbie Gray coming from behind. Robbie Gray stopped because he was trying to appeal for a free kick for Chad Wingard instead of going for the ball. And now Brendan Goddard has it. Short to Kelly. He, in turn, finds Hurley. More on the wing, goes to Zaharakis.
Handball to Zaharakis, who has 1 bounce, now a second. He's got an open forward 50, a third bounce, now a 4. He runs to 60, driving kick wide. Here's Danaher. Brilliant kick, Zaharakis. 4 bounces, and almost demanded that Danaher get to the space. He'll kick around his body here, Joe. He's 25 from goal, 45-degree angle. Left foot snap is a goal. Bombers out to a 47-point advantage. Danaher has 2. And on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard, Ken Hinkley won't be happy with the scoreline. The Bombers 11-9-75, Port 4-4-28. We've played 22 minutes second term on the Ray White clock.
I tell you who he won't be happy with, Jared Pollock. That just shows the mindset of this team. When he gets the ball, he can run as quick as anybody in the competition. Well, he gave up on the chase on Zaharakis about 3 or 4 times. And in the end, that easy kick with no pressure. And he can run fast, but not when he's chasing. That's their mindset tonight, and that's why they're behind on the scoreboard like this.
But Half, you even called it as well as I did when Robbie Gray came to a complete stop, 10 metres out to appeal for a free kick.
It's extraordinary scenes. I mean, he should have run into that ball, picked it up, kicked the goal. And he stopped, waiting for a whistle. Play the game, Robbie.
In the middle, Ryder won it down. Dixon traps it. I thought he dragged it back in. Umpire disagrees.
Yeah, they're off.
Dixon's in there. Dixon's in there as a midfielder, boy. So they've got Ryder and Dixon both around the ball here.
Tiff Cherry and Ollie Wines update.
Yeah, Ollie's just taking some painkillers. He's going to come back on with that left knee.
Soccer off the ground from Heppel toward half forward. Pittard, Green. Pittard got there first. Handballs to no one in particular. Trying to get there is Holmes. Beaten to it. Oh, Stewart did well. Shrugged the tackle of Holmes. Lays it off onto the chest of Jobe Watson. And Jobe says, I'll hold it up here, boys. We'll go back, have a shot. 45-degree angle, maybe slightly more acute. About 48 metres out.
I love what James Stewart does to this forward line. Tiff referenced it with Mark Harvey pre-game. It's spot on. That third mobile tall forward has changed the dynamic of this forward line. They've got the fleet-footed small fellas, and when Joe Danaher played up the ground, they didn't have that second other guy. Now they've got that guy, and he's had a real impact in this second quarter.
Hasn't kicked a goal this year. You want to see him kick it. We're right behind the kick. Stuttery run up, 47 metres out, fades off to the right. That's marked between the goal and behind post.
Push, free kick.
There was a push, yeah. So
Big Joe went for the hover.
Mel Chambers certainly claiming the mark. It brought me in, but Justin Westhoff to take the free kick between the goal and behind post. Essendon 11-9-75, Port Adelaide 4-4-28. It's a 47-point lead to the Bombers.
Long kick towards half-back. Heppel floated in. Royce Hartlike in from the side and takes the mark. 60 from goal. Right half forward. Drives it long. It'll land top of the goal square. Hooker fisted away by Westhoff. Bill Chambers was there. Pittard's got it. He's tackled to the ground by Green. Ball in dispute. They dive in on top of it. Ball up. 25 metres from Essendon's goal. A couple of metres in from the boundary line. Right forward pocket. 11-9 plays 4-4. Port kicked the opening 3 goals of this quarter, but Essendon have responded with the next 4. Dixon wins it down. Congested play. Fantasia's got it. He's wrapped up by Byrne-Jones, and again the umpire forced to call for it. A couple of metres in from the boundary line. Right forward pocket. Bell Chambers and Dixon contest. Dixon wins it. Flats it forward only as far as Heppel. Little fumble. Try to paddle into the path of Goddard. Did it effectively. Got it to McKenna. His kick was smothered. Picked up by Howlett. Back towards McKenna. Driving tackle by Boak. And the ball's held up. No prior opportunity. So Port do well to work it to centre half back and a ball up. But they're in all sorts of trouble on the scoreboard. They trail by 47.
Ball across half forward for the Bombers. Heppel, little soccer off the ground. Watson fed the handball. Stewart back to Heppel. Lost possession. Polek over to pick up. Floats the ball toward the city wing, and Fantasia, and making McKenna, my apologies, takes the easiest of uncontested marks with a drop punt. Sends Essendon forward again. Danaher! Was there a push? No, not that time. Beautiful mark from Joe Danaher. That is a mark of the day for Robot Building Supplies. Take us through it on the Yarra Valley Toyota replay.
Well, he just got 2 players, Hamish Hartley in front, and it was Tom Jonas behind him, and just he's too big. I don't know what he is is he 200 centimetres? Joe Danaher, be getting close to that.
Exactly.
And his mobility is just freakish at times.
That was a great mark. He just powered through the pack for his 3rd of the night. Oh, they're into it now, the Bombers. They are up and about. This is some game. Some performance. They want to play finals, and they're showing it here tonight. 12-9, 81 Essendon. Port Adelaide 4-4, 28. The Bombers out to a game-high 53-point lead.
Gee, look at some of the midfielders for Port Adelaide. I was just trying to. The captain Travis Boakes had 9 possessions, 1 kick, and 8 handballs. That shows you're under pressure, or you haven't got the ability to run the lines. They just cannot get the hand. Well, you get Gray, who's a superstar. He's kicked his 3 goals, but Chi 1 possession. Powell Pepper, a midfielder, 1 possession. Just not good enough.
So back in the centre, Dixon wins it to Wee, but brilliant tackle coming from Merritt, and he's rewarded. He only had a brief moment, but it was there, and it's a free kick to Essendon.
On the flip side, Shuri, Heppel's had 19, Watson 16, Merritt's 15. All their midfielders that we put under the pump at the start of the game have really stood up.
Essendon with the last 5 goals of the game. The kick towards half forward through the hands of Bell Chambers, but they're running on it. They're swarming to the footy. Here's a chance at ground level though for Wines. Threads it to Westhoff. Hurried kick. Only as far as Kelly. Dropped the mark. Sam Gray did well. Got the handball off the rider, but they're all under pressure. Got it to Dixon. Dispossessed. Brilliant McKenna. Handball to Goddard. Handball to Collier. He's got it on centre wing. Handball to Zaharakis. 70 from goal. Kicks to a central location. Oh, gee. Broadbent was collared high by Bill Chambers in a big round arm spoil, and Pittard not happy with the treatment, but it's a free kick to Broadbent 30 metres from his own defensive goal.
Broadbent runs his full measure, comes out to the broadcast. Dockland's wing. Dixon went up for it, couldn't bring it down. Archie, handball to Ryder, kicks the ball forward, and Robbie Gray comes through, takes the mark. Bit of chopping of the arms as well from Bagley. So Robbie Gray just forward of centre wing. Dockland side of the ground. They need to steady the ship, Port Adelaide. Bombers have kicked the last 5 goals of the match. Gray tries to deliver to Trengo. He couldn't take the mark. And off hands, we'll see a boundary throw in 75 metres around from goal for Port Adelaide. Tiff, down to you.
Indicative of how much running Danaher's doing. He's just come off for a rest and had his hamstrings massaged as he's calling to get back on.
They don't need to steady the ship. They need a new one, the power. This one's not working.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely true. I'll take that on board half. Westhoff pumped it down.
It's already sunk.
Robbie Gray. Port Adelaide Titanic at the moment. Boak received a handball from Westhoff. Pops it to the top of the goal square. No one there for Port Adelaide. Gleeson, the closest player to it, takes a running bounce through the back pocket. just changes direction on a dime. Marty Gleeson got around Wingard and goes back deep inside defensive 50 to Kelly. And he sends it out to Andy McGrath. Off right half back to centre wing. Michael Hartley takes the mark uncontested.
So they work it out. Now the Hartley kick was partly smothered, so turnover opportunity, although the umpire fell over. It was cannon into, but Essendon have it. McGrath, handball off to Zaharakis, handball to Howlett, right half forward, kicks to a central location. There was a poor kick, it was intended for Stewart. The mark's taken by Jonas. Gets the handball off to Wines, who kicks laterally to right half back. Mark taken by Broadbent. So just a chance to catch our breath as he kicks it short to Cleary, who's got it right half back. So umpire Mark gets his all right. Chance for Cleary now. He kicks long to the wing towards Trengove. Couldn't take it. Kelly the crumb. Handball to Heppel. Little underground kick was very effective to Goddard. Great attacking handball. Sets McKenna away.
Hooker.
He kicks towards full forward. Over the top or Hooker. Couldn't quite take it. Didn't have enough on the kick. He gave the old don't argue. Then handball back to Stewart. Stewart's first to arrive. Handball back to Kelly on the 50. Kick towards Hooker. He's tackled by Broadbent. Got boot to ball whilst he was on the ground. Now another chance for Stewart. Feeds it back to Goddard. Kicks laterally into the path of Bell Chambers. Coming through Wingard. Academy Award stuff there from Wingard. He certainly did. Spills to Jonas, who kicks it out in front of the running Impey. Task now for Howlett. Impey's got it at left half forward. The kick towards the pocket. Dixon is up. Hartley did brilliantly.
Well done.
Held his ground, worked back into Dixon, put the left mitt up and forced it over for a boundary throw in left forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Essendon 12-9, Port 4-4. This is a smashing.
Oh, Chriso, just saw it on the Yarra Valley Toyota replay. He took a better dive than Greg Laganis on that occasion, let me tell you about that. And he should be fined for that, because he laid down after it too for about 30 seconds.
Soccer off the ground, dangerous from Danaher. It went straight onto the chest of Ollie Wines, who takes the mark, and 45 metres out, almost directly in front.
Can you be fined, Chriso, for if there's no free kick or report laid?
If it's a reportable, you can be fined for staging, yeah.
But not for that? Even because there's no free kick or report laid?
No.
Right.
Well, he should be. He should have played last night at the MCG.
I still can't believe Tony Shaw came out with Greg Laganis.
Oh.
What Olympics was that, Shaw?
I don't know.
Ollie Watts from 50 kicks. Misses across the face. 12-9, 81 Essendon. Port Adelaide 4-5, 29. Tiff, Greg Laganis?
I'm pretty sure 84.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tiff.
Los Angeles.
When he hit his head, was that 84 or 88?
We'll get back to you in a moment, Tiff. I'll test you again. Ball comes out toward the wing. Vogt sees it out of bounds right below the 3RW commentary box.
I think you know what I've got to do, boys. I reckon they've got to put Westhoff forward. I'd throw Jackson Trengove. He's been all right as a forward, but he's not a natural. Throw him into defence and maybe even get Broadbent up in the forward line after half time to try and get some goal kickers.
Ball on centre wing, Dockland side of the ground. Bell Chambers double palmed it down to Merritt. Merritt kicks just forward to centre wing. Stewart, he's been remarkable tonight. What a find he's been for the Bombers. James Stewart launching kick inside 50. Green tried to take a one-handed mark, couldn't complete it. Came down to Archie of Port Adelaide. Handball to Broadbent. His kick rides the boundary line. The only player underneath it, Dyson Heppel, takes the uncontested mark.
He'd been OG, this bloke. He just controlled it, other than that one mistake.
Heppel goes back to centre half, back to Danaher, who's just paused behind the footiers who are about to get the siren for half time. There it is. What an outstanding opening half by the Bombers. They were under pressure early in the second quarter, with Port kicking the opening 3 goals to reduce the margin back to 21 points. But the response was emphatic, kicking the last 5 goals of the quarter. And at the long break, Essendon 12-9-81, Port 4-5-29. A fantastic performance, a 52-point advantage to the Bombers.
Half time here at Etihad Stadium for Essendon. Cale Hooker has 5, a career best. Joe Danaher has 3. James Stewart has a couple. Merritt and McDonald, Tip and Woody with 1 apiece. Well, for Port Adelaide, the reading's a lot more sparse. Robbie Gray has 3, 1 to Jackson Trengove. The Bombers, an outstanding second term. They're 12-9-81. Port Adelaide 4-5-29. Earlier today, the Gold Coast Suns defeating Hawthorn at the MCG by 16 points. Brisbane, with its first win since round 1, defeating Fremantle by 57 up at the Gabba. We move in to our halftime wrap for On Deck Turn that no around and get on with it. Visit them ondeck.com.au. Michael Christian, Daniel Harford and Tony Shaw to take you through all the numbers at half-time, with the Bombers well and truly in control and well and truly in finals contention. With thanks to KFC, this is 3AW Football.
Ringo, quick snap and goal! It's a goal!
Wingard runs to the point of the square, delivers inside 50. Robbie Gray directly in front, makes it a 27-point ball game. Wingard, Joe the Goose over the top to Robbie Gray, and Robbie gets another one for the power. Kicks to the hospital inside 50. What a mark from Cale Hooker.
Bad matchup.
Middle of the pack, kicks, goals. He's got 4 already.
Hooker! A quick snap and goal. A Bacon goal square. It's a goal. Hooker's kicked his fifth. What? Cale Hooker. 5 goals.
Danaher! Beautiful mark from Joe Danaher for his third of the night. Oh, they're into it now, the Bombers. They are up and about. This is some game. They need to steady the ship, Port Adelaide.
They don't need to steady the ship. They need a new one.
Yes, welcome back to Etihad Stadium. What a performance it's been by Essendon in the opening half. At half-time, Essendon 12-9-81, lead Port Adelaide 4-5-29. They led by 39 points at quarter-time. Port responded emphatically in the opening part of the second quarter, kicking the opening 3 goals, but then Essendon with the next 5 to extend their lead out to 52 points. An incredible opening half. The Bombers by 52 points. Earlier today, it was Brisbane. Big winners over Fremantle, 18-13, 121. Fremantle 9-10-64, and the Gold Coast survived a last quarter comeback from the Hawks to win by 16 points. Gold Coast 13-17-95 defeated Hawthorn 12-7-79. This is half-time for On Deck. Turn that no around and get on with it. ondeck.com.au, and with their thoughts to half-time, it's Tony Shaw with some thoughts about how well Essendon played. It's been incredible stuff, Shorey.
It has been scintillating, and as I said in that second quarter, and as you said, Chris, they were challenged for the first 10 minutes of that quarter and then steadied the ship, and I think they've nearly put this game away. We don't like saying that, but to me, they're so dominant in so many areas. When you think about they've had nearly 70-odd more possessions. I like the fact that they've had plus 50 more uncontested possessions. That means either you're doing it by handball, and their handball's been brilliant from the contest to allow them to go forward with momentum and get some one-on-ones. And the man who's been the beneficiary of that has been Cale Hooker. 5 goals to this stage of the game, and his best return by a mile. Joe Danaher has had also a lot of space to kick his 3, and James Stewart. If you can get 3 key position players, or so-called 3 key position players, kicking that many, 11 of your 12 goals, you know that somewhere along the, 10 of your 12 goals, somewhere along the line, someone else is going to get involved, and that's the small players. They haven't had to, because the domination in midfield has just been incredible. Heppel, 21 possessions, Goddard 17, Merritt 17, Watson 16, Kelly off halfback, and McKenna, who's just run the lines beautifully, has been sensational coming off halfback. The one thing I think the real great part for Essendon is that they're Hurley to play like nearly the second or third defender now, with Michael Hartley doing a job on Charlie Dixon. And I don't think Dixon's had a great supply, there's no doubt about that. But with Hartley doing that halves, to have Hurley as that second, third defender and be able to read where he wants to go is just brilliant, because he's a beautiful kick, he's a penetrating kick, and he's reading the ball so well. I think there's a few. I'll talk about how I think Port can get back into the game, or what change I think they need to make. But what have you made of the first half?
Yeah, I've just been super impressed with the speed of ball movement and the dash and dare of Essendon. We came into this game and we put a bit of heat on their midfielders, and everything starts in the midfield, as we know. Every time the ball goes back to the centre after a goal, it's those guys that have to get things done, and they've done that today. And I couldn't be more impressed with Dyson Heppel's game. You've sung his praises throughout that second term, sure, and fair enough too. Zach Merritt continues his great form. Joe Watson played really well last week. It was the first real sign from me when I've watched the Bombers this year that Jobe had started to find his groove. He's continued that tonight. A lot of in-tight work from Jobe, which has been terrific. And then you get the experienced campaigners like Kelly, stepping up and being really dominant across half-back. He has been that 7th defender at times, and they've used that 7th defender so intelligently across this first half of footy. They've linked up. They haven't blazed the ball forward when they've got it in the back half of the ground. They've decided to run it out because they've had that extra number in, and the confidence in the plan and the ability to execute has been nothing short of scintillating from the Bombers in this first half of footy. Love to see Connor McKenna come in and have a big impact. He's had 14 disposals in that first term. We talked about Michael Hurley, who was great, and Stewart is the other one. And that, as you mentioned too, it's just such an impressive player and so important in their dynamic in that forward half of the ground. Overall numbers, and we did discuss this a little bit through the first half as well, were clearances and contested possessions were the things we were looking at. Clearances, they've broken even. Now, Paddy Ryder is dominating the hit-outs. He is absolutely on fire. He's at 20 to 10 up against Tom Bell Chambers, and a lot of those to advantage, which is terrific, but they've nullified that by going a neutral situation, 19 apiece in the clearances, and contested possessions, the Bombers are on. They're up 13 for the half, which is something they haven't been up anywhere near in that category all year long. So they've come here with a purpose and a real mindset, Shorey, and what they've been able to do is get their hands on the footy first, and then really run and carry and try and make Port Adelaide defend one-on-one from the back half, which has been super impressive.
I tell you what, the thing that really important to me is that they've got to make some changes now. You just don't sit back and let this allow to happen. Like I said, I'd probably throw Trengo back, Broadbent and Westhoff, get them up forward. They have kicked goals before. Westhoff is playing a role now off a wing nearly. It's like and I reckon it's too easy. It's too easy for a player of his talent to go and play as a 6'7" wingman. Where tell him to get in the forward line, see if he can take some contested marks or do something, because Charlie Dixon can't do it by himself. This is a horrible stats. Sam Powell-Pepper, 1 possession. Hamish Hartlett, a talented player, 7 possessions. Jimmy Toumpas, 4 possessions. Jarman Impey, 4 possessions. Brendan Archie, 3 possessions. Now, if you can't accumulate the ball better than that, even with your side going down in the modern game of football, because you can run backwards, sideways, whatever, you've got some real issues. So I give credit to Essendon, their pressure, their ability to take the ball on. They're fed the ball beautifully from the contest with their hands, and it's just split Port Adelaide apart. And the other thing is, I called it Chad Wingard, to take a dive. I just think that shows that you're not on. And Jared Polak, that time when he just didn't chase hard enough, mentally you're not strong enough for the contest.
And I think the other one you identified was Robbie Gray in the goal.
Yeah, he stopped.
When he stopped
arguing with the umpire.
Kick.
I mean, that gives you a bit of an insight.
You're not right in their head. And I think that's the Irishman out of Braveheart said that. He wasn't right in their head.
I'd be chucking Robbie Gray on ball. I don't think it's working, the system around the footy at the moment. Robbie Gray on ball. I'd put Jarman Impey on ball as well, because he's got that dash and that real run, Shorey. And Robbie Gray brings the class. Ollie winds forward. Try and change a few dynamics in that area of the ground and see what can happen, because at the moment they're getting...
Throughout Australia, this is 3AW's live coverage of the 2017 AFL Premiership season.
Great to have your company on this Saturday night from Etihad Stadium. The Bombers taking on Port Adelaide, and at half-time, it's Essendon by a massive 52 points. The Bombers 12-9, 81 to Port Adelaide 4-5-29. Don't forget, you can get in touch with us at any time on 3AW Football via our social networks, with thanks to Tyre Power. And the easiest way is, of course, via Twitter at 3AW is football. Tweet us at any time. Use the hashtag AFL Don's Power if you're talking about tonight's match, and we'll read out some of your tweets in our post-game. Plenty of time for your calls too following this match, and no doubt plenty of Essendon fans will want to have their say. If you're catching up on your results from earlier today, Gold Coast by 16 points over Hawthorn at the MCG, and Brisbane with just its second win of the season, defeating Fremantle by 57 points. Lewis Taylor kicking 4 goals. Dane Beams with 35 possessions. Of course, Sydney over the Western Bulldogs on Thursday night, and last night it was the Crows. Too good for St Kilda at the Adelaide Oval. Third quarter about to get underway here at Etihad Stadium. Fantastic crowd in for Saturday night footy, and given that most of them are wearing the red and black, they'd be pretty happy with what they've witnessed up until this point in the game. Our third quarter brought to you by Munns. Munns are the lawn fertiliser specialist. Sure, is it just a case of Essendon by how much now?
No, you'd hope that Port Adelaide would put up a better effort than what they did in that first half, and you'd think Essendon, being a youngish side, might take the foot off the pedal, but I just hope they keep playing this attacking style and take him on, because there's no doubt Port, if they don't have the ball in their hand, they're not a great defensive side. So they have been better in that area, but they haven't had the ball in the forward line to keep it in their half for most of the night.
No structural changes either from the Power, really. Starting midfielders, Wines, Ebert and Pal Pepper, with Paddy Ryder, who's doing great things, and your man Justin Westhoff still on the wing, sitting there, the 6'6" wingman, which hasn't been overly beneficial.
That's great when you've been 100 possessions down anyway. You know, it doesn't make sense to me.
They should man up the 7th defender too, I reckon. Kenny Hinkley has a chance to do that.